Sandy, you just pop in and let me know if you have any trouble hearing me.
Okay. Well, I have 12 on the dot, so I say we get started. Welcome and thanks for joining us this afternoon for our new knowledge session. Today is session 3 of our Grow with Google series of new knowledge sessions, and this is a professional development workshop series that we have been doing since 2014 to support. We started out to support the Washington County Business Challenge, and now we have continued this series to help our entrepreneurs not only in Washington County but throughout Virginia. And I think it's probably becoming one of the longest running professional development series in Virginia. This is a collaboration with the Virginia Highland Small Business Incubator, the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, and the town of Abingdon. Today's session is being recorded for training and educational purposes, and to keep the webinar flowing, we do have everyone muted. However, if you have a question for our speaker today, simply put that in the Q&A section, and we will address those during and especially at the end of the session. My name is Sandy Ratliff. I'm with Virginia Community Capital, and we're delighted to have Courtney Stringer. She is the Grow with Google coach for Southwest Virginia and lead today's session. Many of you may know Courtney for her years of working in economic and community development throughout Southwest Virginia. Courtney will share more about the Grow with Google program, the partners, and the collaboration that we're doing. So, Courtney, I am turning it over to you and look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sandy. And just so everybody knows, I'm going to have my camera off. We're having some technical trouble today, and I want to make sure you all get the presentation, which is the most important. And we'll do questions at the very end. Make sure you just add those in, as Sandy said. So, okay, let's get started. So Grow with Google is a partnership with Main Street America and Downtown Wytheville. So I'm actually contracted through Downtown Wytheville, their Main Street. And it was launched in 2017, and it's assisted over 8 million Americans with a network of 8,500 partners. The target audiences and the trainings that are provided to us are for small business owners, veterans and military families, job seekers, students, educators, and startups and developers. Grow with Google helps people across the United States grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free tools, training, and events. So many brick and mortar businesses had to pivot during the pandemic, and Main Street America saw that they were really struggling and wanted to find a way that they could really help those businesses get back on their feet. So they conducted a survey to see how they could help and found that digital tools was really needed in order to survive and hopefully be able to thrive as they were moving forward. 10 states were selected for this pilot program with Grow with Google, and the states are Pennsylvania, Michigan, Iowa, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio, Oregon, and of course us being in Virginia, we're the yellow drop pin there. So we feel very honored that the state of Virginia has been selected and that we're able to serve our region and the whole state as well. Why Virginia? Google is really invested in Virginia, and Downtown Wytheville is a leading organization within the Main Street America network. We have phenomenal Main Street director, Todd Wolford, and the location is excellent. You're right off I-81. It's easy to get to far Southwest Virginia or, up to Richmond. And so they thought that this was a good location that we could really have boots on the ground. We offer 3 different types of delivery options: virtual, like we're doing today, an hour max, and have time for Q&A at the end. In person, so we also have hosted classroom settings and events. And then one-on-one, so many times after a session, we will have people who contact me with questions, follow-ups, or other questions about Google tools. And so those are always a 30-minute session, and we can do those virtual or in person. What do we need from each of you? We would love to have you spread the word that we're offering these free workshops. Google Grow with Google will never ask you to pay for anything. These are a free program. And so just keep that in mind. If you're getting calls that people want you to pay for something related to Google, be skeptical, ask lots of questions, because we're never going to ask you to pay for anything. And we want you to share contact information, and then contact us if there are additional workshops that you would like for us to host as well. So today's workshop, Collaborate, Meet, and Work Remotely. I'm Courtney Stringer, as Sandy said, and I serve as your Virginia Digital Coach. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. In this training, I'll show you how Google tools can make working remotely easier and more efficient. And if you were with us for the first session, bear with me because we use this slide again. But working remotely often means working from home or from as we do here now at the incubator, or from a co-working space. So before we jump into the Google Workspace, I wanted to go over a few tips that can make it easier for you to work from home or from another location. So keep your routine. If you normally wake up, work out, and take a shower before work, keep doing your same routine at home that you would do at the office. Maintain regular hours, set a schedule, and try to keep to it. That will provide you with a sense of normalcy. Create a dedicated workspace. Find a spot that's your go-to, that you feel like you're most efficient in your home, and use the same place every day. If you don't have the luxury of a dedicated office, at least go to that same table or that same chair that you're working in, even if you have to clean it up at dinner time. Don't just bring your laptop to the couch one day and the recliner the next and the kitchen table the next day. I know during the pandemic, that was something really hard for me. I felt like I was bouncing around all over the house just because I wasn't used to being home and having to work from home. Make sure you take your lunch breaks and add those to your schedule each day. It's very easy to eat at your desk when you're home, and it doesn't give you the mental break that you need from the work. Don't sit in front of your computer for 8 hours straight. Make sure you're getting up and taking a walk. Even if you take a walk around the outside of your house or down the street or whatever, you really need to give your body and your eyes a break. It's not good for our bodies to sit in the same position for 8 hours, 12 hours straight. Make sure you have all the tools you need to be productive. Think about the office supplies you use when you're going to an actual office location, and make a list so you have those as part of your home office. Create your daily to-do list. At the end of your workday, make sure you start your to-do list for the next day. That way you don't think of something at 9 or 10 o'clock at night before you go to bed and you end up going back to work because you're at home and that's convenient. Make sure and give your coworkers a bit of grace. If they're working from home too, there may be background noise, dogs barking, interruptions from children or family members. So just be patient with that. And if those distractions happen to you as well, don't worry about it. I know, as I said, when I was working from home, my stepdaughter was doing cartwheels in the background. And so I was super nervous about it, but everybody I worked with was very understanding, and they all had kids at home trying to do schoolwork and get their energy out as well. So just show everybody a little bit of grace. And most important, when your work day is done, close up shop, just like you would if you were closing your business for the day. And remember, if you're not at work, don't work. Give yourself that time away so you still have that creative space and you're able to think strategically. Today, I'm going to share Google tools that will help you stay productive no matter where you are, so you can successfully collaborate, meet, and work remotely. First, we're going to go over Google Meet and Calendar to help you communicate from anywhere. Then we'll go over Google Drive and how to collaborate with people on the same files from anywhere. And many of you have heard of Google Workspace, which used to be called G Suite. This is a collection of products designed for workspace, collaboration, storage, communication, and more. Everything I'm going to show you today works with both Google Workspace and what Google calls the consumer version, or your regular or personal Google account. In the few places these are different, I'll make note of that for you as well. So in order to use any of the Google Suite, Google tools, you'll need to go ahead and sign into your Google account. So as you can see, this animation shows you how to sign in. So if you don't know how, follow the prompts here, and let's go ahead and sign into our account. I'll give you just a second to get signed in. If you don't already have a Google account, you can set one up for free and choose to get a new email address if you want to use it just for a personal use instead of business use. And if your business or employer uses Google Workspace, you may have an email address that doesn't say gmail.com, but it's still a Google account. And if you're not sure if it's a Google Workspace, you can check with your IT team at work. Okay, now that we're signed in, let's start off with learning how to communicate wherever you're at. Seems like in the world we live in today that we have to be connected and plugged in all the time. Not that that's the best way mentally to function, but we want to give you the tools necessary to where if you have to communicate and you're on vacation or you're out on the golf course, you have tools that are right at your fingertips to be able to do that efficiently and effectively. So Google Meet, much like Zoom that we're using today, is a tool for video conferences. You're probably used to meeting with your coworkers, clients, or teams face-to-face, or maybe in a conference room or over coffee, but that's not always possible when people are working from different locations. Unlike a regular phone call or audio conference, Google Meet gives you some of the benefits of face-to-face meetings, even when you can't be in the same room. It's very easy to set up a video conference and meet and share the link with the people you want to attend. Anyone can join a video call and meet, even if they don't have a Google account. So that's always good to remember. I've had people say, well, I can't get on Meet because I don't have a Google account, but they can. So they can connect to you if they don't have a Google account. Setting up Meet is available to everyone who has the account. If you need to sign in, though, to be able to create the video meeting, but you don't have to have it to participate in the meeting. If you have an existing Google account, sign in at meet.google.com to get started. And if you all are already signed in, you can go to your Google Tools and select it there. So what is Google Meet? People can access your meeting from their computer, tablet, or smartphone. You don't need any plugins or special software. If you're connected to the internet, you can connect on Meet. As shown on this slide, when you're looking at Meet on your phone, you'll see your scheduled calls under the video screen. With the free consumer version of Meet, you can have video meetings with up to 100 participants. Kind of crazy that you can do that from your phone. With paid Google Workspace account, which is the business version, you can have video meetings with up to 500 attendees. With the Workspace Business Standard, Business Plus, or Enterprise account, you can record your meetings as well. All conferences in Meet are encrypted, and the security features are turned on by default. So in most cases, you don't have to do anything to ensure that the right protections are in place. Some of the security measures that Google provides, an array of counter abuse protections to keep your meetings safe. They include anti-hijacking measures for both web meetings and dial-ins. And Sandy, I'm not sure if you were on the meeting right when the pandemic started. We all got on a Southwest Virginia grind, I think it was, and we had someone hijack our meeting. Were you on there?
Yes, I remember that very well, and have had security protocols since.
Yes. So that was the first time that I have ever encountered a hijacking. And so it has made me very weary since then, but definitely appreciate the security measures. To limit the attack surface and eliminate the need to push out frequent security patches, Google Meet works entirely on your browser, which means we do not require or ask for any plugins or software to be installed if you use Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Microsoft Edge. On the mobile, we do recommend using your app. In Google Meet, all the data is encrypted and in transit by default between the client and Google for video meetings on the web browser. On Android and iOS apps, and in meeting rooms with Google Meeting Room hardware. To help ensure data security and privacy, Meet supports the following encryption measures. Everything's encrypted in transit by default. If you join a meeting by phone, the audio uses the telephone carrier's network. That might not be encrypted. And meetings that are recorded are stored in Google Drive, and they're encrypted at rest by default. And Meet also adheres to the Internet Engineering Task Force security stands for data transportation layer security and real-time security transport protocol. So Meet takes all the necessary actions in order to keep you secure. This slide compares the free version to the paid version. So the paid plans refers to the Google Workspace accounts or a special option called Workplace Essential that is Google's productivity tool, Meet, Docs, Slides, Sheets, etc., for businesses who want to use their own email and calendar systems such as Microsoft Outlook. As you can see, the free version allows up to 100 participants, as we talked about a minute ago, and can be up to 1 hour, and there's no limit on the number of meetings you can host. For a paid Google Workspace account, the meetings can hold up to 500. It allows you to record depending on the plan, and maximum duration can be up to 24 hours. So goodness, you can have a whole hackathon for a whole day if you wanted to and be communicating with somebody in California. This presentation includes information about free and paid features. Meet interface might look slightly different depending on which version you use. And you can see the quick tip at the bottom, workspace.google.com/pricing, and that will go over everything for you. Just a reminder, we will provide you with the resources, these that are shown at the bottom at the end of the presentation, and Sandy will be sharing the presentations with you all after this session. How your business can benefit from Google Meet. Having a Google Meet conference rather than an audio call really helps people feel connected and gives them that one-on-one touch that you can't always have if you're just talking on the phone. You can see their facial expressions, their body language, makes you feel like you're in the same room with them. I know during the pandemic, my grandma wasn't doing well, and we didn't want to go to visit her an hour away and take any germs in on her. And so we had our Easter family dinner remotely. We all hopped on Zoom and had just a time for sharing and celebration and got to see each other's faces. And that was such a memorable time for us. And I still have pictures of that today. So a little bit different look to it. And we couldn't hug in person, but we at least got to be a part of each other's day. If you haven't tried Meet, here's some ways you can use it. If you're having an in-person brainstorming meeting with your team, try that in Meet. If you normally meet with clients in person, encourage your clients to schedule consultations with you on Google Meet. You can also host an online class like we're doing today or virtual get-togethers. So we also have done some happy hours or morning coffees with Meet just to catch up. Like a lot of Google tools, there are different ways to connect with Google Meet. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to join a Meet video call. And it doesn't matter how you access it, you'll have a variety of options you can use. So I like that it does provide different options to where if you forget how to do it, you can go through different measures to get there. Same outcome. Option 1 is the easiest way to access Meet, and it's through meet.google.com. And this way is perfect for impromptu meetings and conversations. From there, all you have to do is click on Join or Start a Meeting. And you can see where that is here on the screen. We've highlighted the new meeting on the left and Join the Meeting on the right. Remember that you don't need a Google account to participate in Meet video meetings. But if you don't have a Google account, the meeting organizer or someone from the organization has to grant you access to the meeting. If you're not signed into Google or your Gmail account, you can't join using your mobile device. So that is one of the differences. You would need to join on your desktop or laptop. Option 2, if you want to schedule a meeting in advance, even if it's for later that same day, you can do that through your Google Calendar. That's the second way to schedule the Google Meet. And you can find your calendar at calendar.google.com. And like I said, all these links will be at the end in your resources. And here's how you're going to add a meeting using your calendar. You'll double click on the date and time when you want the meeting, and then add the title and start filling in your details. And this is very similar to any of your calendars that you might use currently for work. Click Add Google Meet Video Conferencing, and it's also highlighted here on the slide. If you're using Google Workspace, the process of setting up a meeting is very similar. When you click on the arrow next to Join with Google Meet, you'll see the option to join the meeting by phone. This screenshot shows what setting up a Meet looks like from a Google Workspace version. Excuse me. Within your meeting, you can also click the More Options link to add more information about the meeting. That option is highlighted on the image on the screen. You can add guests by entering their email addresses, add notes, and other options. When you finish setting up the meeting, make sure you select Save. So this is different than a lot of the Google tools that we've talked about, where you don't have to hit Save. That normally automatically saves it for you. In this instance, when you're doing a calendar invite, you will need to select Save. When you save the meeting on your calendar, everyone you invited to the meeting will get an email invitation that looks like the image on the screen with the meeting link highlighted. They'll have the option to accept or decline the invitation. They can also select maybe if they're not sure if that time works for them or not. If you go back into the meeting on your end, you'll see who's replied yes, no, and who's not replied at all. When it's time to start your meeting, you would go back to your calendar, click on the meeting, then select Join with Google Meet. And the image on the screen shows the button that you can click with the calendar entry. Everyone you invited to the meeting can also access the link from their calendar, or they can go to their email and join from the meeting link there. And this is what the meetings look like. So on the left is if you're talking to someone through Google Meet on your phone, and on the right or the middle of the screen is your desktop. When you click on the link, you'll see a screen similar to the image with the button that says Join Now. And not everyone has a camera on their computer, but nearly everyone has one on their phone. So either if they're on their phones, most likely you'll see their picture or them in person, but not necessarily always on the laptop. So just be aware of that if they are on their desktop or laptop, that you might not be able to see them. Okay, on to Google Meet features. So you just saw different ways to initiate the Google Meet call. Now let's look at different features of Google Meet. So this photo here reminds me of my family on our Easter call that we had. It's a screenshot of what looks like multiple people participating, and there's several settings that you have control of when attending a meet. You can mute your microphone or turn off your camera, just like you can with Zoom. You do that by clicking on the gray microphone for mute or the camera icon for video at the very bottom of the screen there. And this will add a red microphone icon with a strike through on top of your section on the screen, and signals to everyone that the microphone is off. If someone has their camera turned off, you won't see a live shot. Instead, you'll see their Google account profile picture or a static icon with just their first initial. Even when people are on a video call, there are times that they want to communicate using chat. And that's useful when one person wants to share links or other files It's also useful when asking for information from a larger group. Participants can send a group message without interrupting the speaker. Also, if you're trying to share contact information or something to the whole group, that's a great way to do it. Anyone in the meeting can click on the chat icon button on the top right of the screen and type a message to the rest of the group. People with Google Workspace will experience Google Meet a little bit differently than people with a personal Google account. However, accessing the options in this section is very similar in both situations. You have a lot of those same icons. So sharing your screen, if someone in the meeting wants to share a file or document that's on their computer with the rest of the group, they can share it by selecting Present Now. That option is highlighted on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner. The person sharing their screen may have multiple windows open, and when they select Present Now, Google will ask which screen they want to share. They can select what view they want to share with the other people in the meeting as well. Meet also allows you to record meetings to Google Drive. And as we said earlier, that safely stores those recordings for the meeting owner after the recording has stopped and the meeting ends. The image here shows an example of what the recorded meeting option looks like on the menu. The option to record is helpful for something like a live training session like we're having today, that you want to be able to reference later or share with other people on your team who was not able to attend. And Sandy so graciously records these and puts these on their New Knowledge YouTube channel. So if there's something you missed today, you can always go back there and watch the session. Or if you want to share this with somebody else on your team, you can do that as well. Best practices. You might want to practice using Meet with a friend, family, or coworker. That will help you feel more comfortable with the technology and also with how you look and sound on Meet. I know we all think we sound horrible and we look horrible on any type of virtual call, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And after the pandemic, I feel like we should all be pros. However, I don't think any of us ever get to the point that we feel that comfortable. Here are some best practices for having a successful Google Meet. When you're conducting or participating in a video call, you should keep your camera on. It makes a better impression and helps you stay more engaged. It also shows that you value the person's time you're having the meeting with. Choose a neutral background if you're able and reduce the clutter behind you. So just for complete honesty, I have to clean off the back of my desk before I do any of the Google Grow with Google calls, because I usually have some photos back there and a couple other things. And so that's very distracting when I'm on camera. An external microphone may be able to provide better sound quality than the one built into your device. And it's especially helpful if you plan to conduct any webinars. And lastly, when you're not speaking, mute your microphone and limit moving around so you don't distract the person speaking. Now we're going to talk about another Google tool you can use with people from any location.
Hey, we've got a question.
Okay.
During presentation mode, when you're sharing your screen, can you go through the different screen sharing options?
Yes. However, I can't on here because we're on.
Okay. Maybe afterwards.
Yes. So Roseanne, if you want to get with me after, we will go through that because we're in Zoom right now. And I know a lot of my teammates have asked me, why are you all using Zoom for your Grow with Google? But that's the platform that Sandy and her team had developed before, and it works really well. And so we don't mess up something that's going great already. So that's why, if anybody's wondering. But I'll be happy to walk through that with you after the session if you would like. So now we're going to talk about another Google tool you can use to work with people from any location. You've probably been in a situation where someone on your team's created a document or spreadsheet, they've emailed it to you, and then someone else on your team asks for your thoughts, then you send it to someone else, and you have all these different files floating around. you might have it saved as version 2. They might have it saved with their initials, and you're emailing it forth, and you don't know that all the updates are in one document. So that's one of the great things about Google, is that it does save in real time, and you can save your files in Google Drive and share and access the files, and everyone you share it with can make their own changes to one file. Best of all, you can see those changes in real time, like I said. So signing into your Google account allows you access to all the products you see here. Sheets, which is very similar to Excel. Google Docs, which is very similar to Word. Slides, PowerPoint. Google Drive, just like your drives that you have on your computer, your desktop. Photos, Chrome for your internet, and then Gmail for your email. There's a ton of other applications. This just shows the ones that people use the most. So select the Google Apps icon, and once you see all the Google applications that come with your account, use the Google Apps menu to move between the applications. And I'll give you just a second to play with that feature. And you do have to sign in to see this. So if for some reason you've signed out from earlier in the presentation, if you don't mind, take just a second to sign in and then look at your different Google applications. And the ones at the top of the screen are going to be your most used if you're using Google frequently. So you'll watch the GIF here on the screen. Start off with Google Drive, which is the grid icon at the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If you're already in another Google app like Gmail, you can find the grid icon on the upper right corner there as well. When you click on it, you'll see the Google Drive icon there. You'll also see all the other applications. Most likely the ones, as I said, that you use most will show up first. And you can feel free to arrange those how you want, whether it's the one that you use most frequently, or if there's a certain way you want to arrange those. And the link in the quick tip here shows step-by-step instructions on everything you need to know about Google Drive, including uploading files from other software programs like Word and Excel, which is great that those can be interchanged as well. We're working on a presentation, the Grow with Google team is for September, and I was able to work on the presentation in PowerPoint, pull all that information together, combine a couple of PowerPoint presentations, and then upload it in Google Drive and share that with the team, and then they can go in and make their changes. So that's always super nice that you can interchange the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files like that. So you can access Google Drive as well as any of the individual apps from your mobile device. And this screenshot shows the Google Drive icon on an iPhone. When you store your files in Google Drive, you can access them anywhere, anytime you're connected to the internet. Unlike today in my office where we're having internet trouble. If you know there's a chance you're going to be without internet access, you can turn on the available offline setting for the files that you think you might need when you're offline. I love this feature because in rural Virginia, rural America, period, there's a lot of places we go, and unfortunately we still don't have internet in those locations. So you are able to access that PowerPoint presentation or that Google Slides presentation or an Excel file if you're going to a budget meeting, if you select that available offline. And I love that feature because I feel like I've used it so much. As I mentioned earlier, Google Drive is a tool that allows you to save your files in one secure location. And this slide shows a screenshot of my drive that shows saved documents, PDFs, and slide presentations. And you can see that all the different icons there of what they look like. Controlling who sees your files is also a really cool feature that Google has. When you store your files in Drive, you can give different people access to different files. For example, you created a draft agenda for a big event and you want everyone on your planning committee to have access to the agenda. That's the path I'm showing you on the left side of your screen, there where it says agenda. But you also have a budget file to go along with your big event, and you only want one other person to have access to that. And that's the path on the right-hand side of the screen. The best part is you can give different people different levels of access. They can either edit the file, comment on the file without editing, or just view it and don't have the ability to make changes at all. Also a great feature, because sometimes you might just want somebody with fresh eyes and them to be able to give you feedback, but not alter your document. You can also give people access to a complete folder and store a group of files in that folder. In that situation, everyone who has access to the folder also has access to all of the files in the folder. So just be mindful of that. And yes, you can give access to people outside of your organization. That makes it perfect for sharing information with your clients or members who might be a part of your team, but hired through another organization. I know we ran into that at the higher education center a lot. We would have to share things with other college partners who might have a different email setup as well. Now I'm going to show you how to create and collaborate on individual files. In order to create one of these files, you need to be signed into your Google account. And the animation on the screen is showing you how to create a document in Google by clicking the large plus icon at the top left. Next, clicking on the Google Docs in the menu, and then opening from a template option. So I'll give you just a second to do that. So new, Google Docs, and from a template. And I'm going to use Google Docs for my examples in this training, but starting a new file and collaborating on that file is the same for Google Documents, Sheets, Slides, which, as I said earlier, is very similar to Excel and PowerPoint. What's great about these tools is that Google lets you start with a blank file, or you can start off with one of the templates. Each tool provides templates, and you can even create a default template to match your organization style, which I love. That way you can already have a leg up on what you're starting to design.
Hey, Courtney,
when you're
Quick question. Can previous versions of the documents be seen once changes are made?
Yes, so you can go on to the document and it will show what changes have been made, what time they were made, and who made the changes. So it does update in real time, but you can see what changes were made, if that's the question you're asking. In order to save it, a previous version, you would have to save it to your desktop. Is that what you needed, Sandy?
I think so.
Okay. When you're in Drive, like in the image I'm showing you now, click on New, select the type of file you want to start, and then select if you want a blank file or one from a template. And if you're already in the Docs app, your screen will look a bit different, but the process is similar. Whether you're using a template or starting from a blank file, like I have in this image, the first thing you want to do is rename your file. Google automatically saves your work, like we said before, and the files for you. And if you don't name it right away, you'll end up with a bunch of files in Google Drive called untitled documents. Untitled spreadsheet, untitled presentation, everything's untitled. And then you don't know exactly what you have in there, and you're constantly having to go in and check and select different ones. So make sure you name your document. Share, comment, or assign. This feature makes collaboration so much easier. Once you create a document, you might want feedback from other people. I mentioned that you can share files with other people. As I'm showing here, there's a blue share button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. When you click on that, you can add the emails of the people you want to share with and also assign their editing level. So you can have Susie that's able to edit. You can have Lucy that is just able to view, and you can have Tom that's able to view and edit. Here's how you can add comments to your files and ask others to contribute. First, click on or highlight the word or phrase you want to comment on. In this example, we used "have we started looking for her replacement." There are a couple different ways to add a comment. I recommend you go to the top of the screen and find the plus icon. At the top of the example, here we added a call out that says add comment, and that's where the plus icon is. Click the plus icon and you'll get a pop-up where you can type in your comment. And once you do that, everyone who has access to the file can see your comment. But you can also alert or assign someone to the comment. On the right side of the screen, I'm showing you Randy has alerted and assigned a comment to Pamela. You tag someone in a comment by typing a plus or an @ sign and the email address of the person you want to alert. You can see in the example, Randy typed plus Pamela @ example.com and then typed in her comment. Once you do that, you're given the option to assign the comment to that person as well. This comment is assigned to Pamela, so now she knows she's responsible for answering and resolving the comment. When you alert or assign a comment to someone, they get an email notification, and they can go into the document, read, comment, reply back, make changes, and resolve it if they wish. Any resolved comments disappear from the sidebar of the actual file, but all the communication is stored in the comment area, which can be accessed through the small gray call-out box next to the large blue share button. So that right there, I'm not sure who asked the question, but that's where you can see what all's been changed on the document. This process works the same way in Google Sheets and Slides. And I was thinking, if you wanted to, you could share or save your document as Tom's version, but then also go in and create a new version and share it out with the team if you wanted to have that backup copy. I know all of us are always hesitant to share and have people collaborate on a document because we're afraid we'll lose something, but there are ways that you can provide yourself with a backup. Here's an example of how the collaboration feature looks in Google Sheets. The screen shows where Pamela assigned a comment to Randy. And here's an example of how the collaboration looks different in Slides. We're showing where Coursera assigned a comment to Madison. They're conversing back and forth on the title. You can also save a file in another format, such as a PDF. And here's a screenshot of how that works in Google Docs. You go to the File menu, select Download, and then you'll see your options there: Word, Open Document Format, Rich Text, PDF, Plain Text, Web Page, and EPUB Publication. If you were in Google Sheets or Slides, you would be able to download those files into other similar spreadsheets or presentation types. And in case you are wondering, you can also open files that are built in other tools like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And you do that by going to File and then Open. As I mentioned earlier, you might want to access some files offline. And you can see that here, Make Available Offline feature, and that allows you to access, edit, and save work in the files you indicate when you don't have an internet connection. You do need to set this up when you have an internet connection, though. So in the screenshot here, I'm showing you how to go to the File menu, scroll to Make Available Offline, and click Enable. be sure you enable this feature for any file you think you'll need offline before you get stuck without an internet connection. Also, you must do this on the device you want to use to access the file offline. For example, if you want to use your phone to access the file while offline, then you would do that on your phone and adjust the settings there. If you're wanting to do it from your laptop or from your iPad or whatever it may be, make sure you've made that available offline on that device. So for resources, a lot of apps, as I said, with Google, you have forms that allows you to create surveys, collect feedback from others. Google Sites to let you create your own websites for business or to share your work portfolio photos, to store all of your images in one place. I think I have exceeded my limit on photos, and I'm having to pay Google now to store up to that number of photos. YouTube, to where you can learn or share through video content, and then Play to see what other apps are available if you have an Android device. Here's the list of resources that we mentioned in today's presentation, and you can check out these websites for more in-depth information on what was covered. Those go into significantly more detail than the high-level overview we went over today. And questions? What questions do we have?
If you've got a question for Courtney, post those in the Q&A. I have one quick question. If you create a Google account, how much storage does that automatically give you to use in your Google Drive?
Oh, Sandy, hold on just a second.
I think it used to be 3 meg, but
You're asking for a personal account, correct?
Yeah, any Google account that you created, whether you're using it for work or business.
So if you're on a Google Workspace, I think you have more. I'm almost positive you have more storage. Let me just a second. I can tell you because mine is you have 15 gig of storage that's spread across Google Drive, Gmail, and Google Photos.
Great.
When you upgrade to Google One, your total storage increases to 100, depending on which plan you choose. But I am at, of course, it's not telling me now.
That's great.
10.75 of 15.
I mean, that allows you to do a lot of sharing and working with team members. And speaking of team members, if I share a document with someone and for some reason later down the road they are no longer on that team, is it easy for me to take them, remove them as sharing that file?
So they wouldn't have that same email account. So they shouldn't be able to, if you all use Google for your workplace. But if not, as long as that email has been discontinued, they shouldn't have access to that.
But I can, if they created a Google account under their own personal, I can remove them as sharing or accessing.
Yes, you can. You can go back in and add or remove.
My friend Liz Pobar is asking, one of the available apps is Google Ad. What does that mean?
So Google Ad, you can actually go in and create ads, and these are paid advertisements. You can select an ad budget and create ads for your company, for a product. And we're actually covering Google Ads on September 6th. So that was I think my next slide here. Thank you for that lead in. Come back and visit us to learn the basics of Google Ads on September 6th at noon. We also have, I think, 7 more, Sandy, which feels like they're flying by. So make sure, even if you're unavailable during the noon lunch hour, you can watch the recording at your convenience. Make sure you register so we can track those numbers and get that information back to Google. The more we show that we have an interest in our area, the more trainings they're going to provide to us and hopefully keep us on a little bit longer than our 1-year contract that we signed. we also want to be able to share that with our Main Street national partners as well. Our next is September 6th, and then the one following that is on sale online with e-commerce tools, September 20th. Here's my contact information, so you all feel free to email or call or text. I don't answer the phone, I'll be completely honest, if it's a number I don't know, and a lot of times I'm at work or with the 2-year-old. He might have my phone doing some YouTube himself. And so if you'll text me or shoot me an email, I will be happy to get back to you as soon as possible with answers to any of your questions. I'm by no means an expert, but I do have a great team around me who can help me get answers I need. And also, I want to make sure and thank our partners. So Main Street America and Downtown Wytheville really initiated this agreement, but the Southwest Virginia Higher Education Center, UVA WISE, Virginia Community Capital, and Virginia Main Street, they really felt value in these programs and what we could do for the region and supporting the initiative. And we are just so thankful that they were engaged and wanted to come alongside us to see growth in our rural communities and our Main Street businesses. So thank you so much, Sandy, for your all's belief in this program and for letting me be able to be a part of your new knowledge program.
Well, I know I've learned a lot, and I've used Google for years, and just even today, I just thought of all the different ways that I use Google, the different apps for projects that I've worked over the years, even creating a Google form and allowing people to register for events, or even for a family reunion where they can register and we can keep track of that. So Courtney, as always, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. And I know this is taking time out of your busy day and to create the content. So we thank you. And I hope that everyone that, has watched the session today will utilize some of these various tools. And we're going to learn more on September the 6th when we're going to talk about Google Ads. And remember that, as Courtney mentioned, we are having a session every other week through December. So I hope you will continue to join us and also share about this opportunity. Just a reminder that today's session has been recorded, and it'll be available on the Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator's Facebook page. But we also have a YouTube channel called New Knowledge, and you can go there and find over 200 plus workshops that we've done since 2015, that when we started recording those, that are available on any kind of topic that you can think of. But again, thanks for joining us. I hope you will come back again and again share with others. And Courtney, thanks. And I will hope to see everybody on September the 6th.
Thank you, Sandy. You have a great day.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.